Talksport, but let's get to the Champions League round of 16 second leg. Liverpool were 2-0 up and messed it up, and so they find themselves 5-2 down away to the European champions with their last hope of a trophy this season hanging by the thinnest of threadbare threads. It's live on Talksport with former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. And even for a club famed for its European miracles, this is a night that would go down in folklore, up there with the greatest salvage acts of them all. The revered Anfield comebacks against Dortmund and Barcelona when Klopp's mentality monsters came back from the brink, and Istanbul, the daddy of them all. The night of triumph after being 3 down against an Ancelotti side. Yeah, been there, done that. But in the Bernabeu against the current European champions, on the back of a defeat in Bournemouth, it would be the miracle of Madrid. Well, optimists would point to a line of form over a 10-day period since the first leg. Liverpool beating Manchester United 7-0, United knocking Barcelona out of Europe, and Barcelona winning away to Real Madrid. They can also highlight Chelsea in a near-identical position last season, 3-1 down from the first leg, then 3-0 up at the Bernabeu going into the last 10 minutes of the second. That night, like this one, was a product of the job already being done to all intents and purposes, only for the wake-up call to come in the nick of time. All Liverpool can do is not worry about the size of the whole task, but concern themselves with the next goal, and then the next goal, and then the one after that. But make no mistake, pull this off, and they'll be building statues. Reds fans will always remember where they were when it happened. This is how they line up. Real Madrid, Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Militao, Rudiger and Nacho, Modric, Camavinga and Kroos, Valverde, Benzema and Vinicius. Liverpool, Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson, Fabinho and Milner, Salah, Gakpo, Jota and Nunez as a front four in some combination. Could be Jota playing as a 10. They could go to a 4-2-4 formation that we did briefly see on occasion back in the early autumn. Liverpool bench tonight: Gomez, Keita, Firmino, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jones and Elliott, Tsimikas, Carvalho, Matip and Williams, and the keepers Adrian and Kelleher. And Felix Zweier from Germany is the referee. Well, Stuart, we heard from Jurgen Klopp. He's talked about there being a 1% chance of being able to pull this off, but when there's a chance, they feel quite clearly that they're still in the competition. What do you think the gist of his pre-match team talk will have been?
Well, I don't think there's any point in putting and heaping pressure on his team, not when the scoreline as it stands at present. What he's got to do is go out there, chunk it down, talk about the first goal, talk about their ability to get a couple of goals early on that they did in the home leg, but also as well making sure that the point is we're going to have to defend well tonight as well. That's got to underpin our opportunity of getting a couple of goals at the other end.
Well, Real Madrid in all white, Liverpool in all red. Where there's hope, there's life. Liverpool have 90 minutes to carve out a miracle. A 3-goal win, the minimum requirement for a quarter-final place, and accompanying hero status. Ball out of play for an early throw, which will be taken on the Real Madrid right-hand side by Dani Carvajal. A player who went off with a hamstring injury in the first half of the 2018 final against Liverpool. They've given it away. Gakpo able to bring it forward. Jota couldn't quite get it into his stride, and Real Madrid will clear. The early signs are that it's a 4-2-3-1 formation pretty much, with Salah playing out wide. Gakpo will play in support of Jota almost as a second striker, but will be getting forward. So frequently when they have possession, it is going to be a brave, everything on the line, 4-2-4 formation.
Yeah, I think you're right there, and judging by these early stages, Liverpool won't be nervous in any way, shape or form about flooding players forward. They've had 4/5 all up in the front line with the full-backs advanced as well.
Trent Alexander-Arnold trying to thread a ball forward, which went past Mo Salah and out of play. Alexander-Arnold tonight, the youngest English player to reach 50 Champions League starts. He's overtaken Wayne Rooney in that regard. Another Premier League goal. It's at St Mary's. Ian Abrahams.
Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Could he get a call up tomorrow? Maybe, maybe not, but he has scored tonight. Ivan Toney, flick on by Norgard from a corner. Toney 2 yards out, stabbed it home. It's live on the Talksport app. It's Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
17th of the season for Ivan Toney as Milner makes his way forward. A looping cross, which is comfortably claimed by Thibaut Courtois. So in the Premier League, Brighton lead Crystal Palace 1-0 with a Solly March goal. That's live for you on Talksport 2. As we heard from the Moose there, Brentford a goal up at Southampton. Ivan Toney on target, and that is on the Talksport app. He's 8 in his last 11 Premier League games. Here's Benzema making his way forward. The flag was up, and it was a tidy save from Alisson. Benzema not really hitting it with the conviction of a man who thought he was onside. And it's a free kick which Liverpool will take on the edge of their own penalty area. With 3 minutes in, it's Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0, 5-2 to Real Madrid on aggregate. And alongside me, England's former World Cup defender Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I think looking at Liverpool's line-up, there's no doubt they'll have enough men in the forward areas of the pitch, but it's that central midfield area that's a little bit of a concern for me. Fabinho and Milner are the two individuals that are there to anchor that central area, and certainly early on Millie was looking to edge to the left a little bit. It leaves rather large gaps.
Another goal in the Championship, Cardiff 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. Daryl Dike has scored that. Cardiff in all kinds of relegation problems, 3 points above the bottom 3. And the Albion will go into the top 6 tonight if they win and Norwich don't. And that's the state of play at the moment. Norwich 0-0 at Huddersfield. All the goals from the Championship as they go in. Here's Danny Carvajal making his way forward for Real Madrid. Slipping it off to Luka Modric. Modric, 5-time winner of this competition. Now out towards Vinicius, who's got this extraordinary goal-scoring record against Liverpool, as well as the winner in the final last season, 2 against Liverpool in the first leg of the quarter-final in 2021. All told, it's 5 goals in 4 games against the Reds in the Champions League. Real Madrid just work it back inside their own half. A little bit of space for Camavinga, who played at left-back at the weekend, but is anchoring the midfield again today. 4 from him to Vinicius, and straight back again for the Frenchman, who turns it with his left foot back towards halfway. Eder Militao has it now, taking a touch inside the centre circle. Threat to slip it off left for Rudiger. Jota putting the pressure on. Eder Militao forced to bring it forward. His route to his fellow centre-half cut off. Now Real Madrid working out wide towards Vinicius. Vinicius back for Luka Modric, and the Croatian takes a touch, gets it away from Jota, played out towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Chance for Vinicius to deliver. Konate's defended that really well, just stood firm and blocked. His scuff clearance goes out of play though for a Real Madrid throw, but he did well to prevent Vinicius making hay inside that penalty area.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about Liverpool and what's expected from them, but Real Madrid, their strongest card tonight, certainly in these early stages, will be possession football. Starve momentum from Liverpool, stop them getting on the front foot, and if they can keep the ball, that certainly goes a long way to getting supremacy within this game. And just looking at Liverpool's attack, those attacking forward, Jota looks as though he's the furthest up the pitch, playing as that centre forward, if you like, role, and it's Gakpo who's been asked to play either slightly behind him when they're going forward, but defensively dropping in to make a midfield free with Milner and Fabinho.
First corner of the game will be taken by Luka Modric, and it's a right-footed in-swinging delivery that's very deep. Alexander-Arnold with a poor header away, back in from Benzema, a scuff shot that Gakpo could clear, and then Fabinho digs it clear from inside his own penalty area. Former Real Madrid player Fabinho just made the one solitary appearance for the first team. Salah's given it away, and the ball goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Real Madrid right-hand side. They had a lousy start at Anfield, of course. 3 weeks ago, 2 down in 14 minutes there, but it's been a much brighter start from them today. I think back to that Chelsea game last season, Stu, where they were 3-1 up from the first leg and had a terrible start in the second. Come back to that in a moment. Salah slipping it through here for Darwin Nunez, and Courtois saves with his left foot. And it all came about after a loose ball back in the general direction of the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area, and Salah seized upon it but just couldn't make the most of it.
Yeah, It was Carvajal, I think, with a really loose pass. Salah got there before Rudiger. Rudiger almost looked a bag of nerves when he was faced with Salah, but eventually they managed to clear it. Courtois making a reasonable save with his feet.
Just going back to that point I was making about the Chelsea game. Real Madrid had such a slow, flat start that night in the second leg. Hasn't been replicated tonight. Vinicius trying to beat Trent Alexander-Arnold for pace. And Trent did well sliding in, but the referee, Felix Vara, says that he took the man before he took the ball. And it's a free kick down on the dead ball line. But that was an early indication that Vinicius is quicker than Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's certainly got the beating of him. And Trent's going to need a yard or so of a head start. And seeing the replay, contact on the ball was minimal. He certainly took the ball long before he took the man.
Yeah, it certainly was. As I say, it looked from one angle as though Trent made a fantastic slide in typical fullback's challenge, but from the other, Vinicius Junior done extremely well, getting his foot across in front and guarding the ball and inducing the foul.
So Toni Kroos will take this free kick. It's been spotted down where the contact originally started between the two players. It's about 5.5 yards from the dead ball line. In it comes right foot across the edge of the area for Valverde. His right-footed effort was going wide. Gakpo blocked it anyway, kicks it upfield. Bounce of the ball gives Robertson something to attack. Trying to head it on towards Nunez. And then James Milner with the captain's armband for Liverpool tonight. Just slips it back for Trent Alexander-Arnold again. Milner making the 846th appearance of his career. Real Madrid win it back cheaply. Benzema slipping into his left-hand side. Vinicius Benzema waiting in the middle. It was behind him. And Milner clears before it falls for Modric. This is not going to be 0-0 for long.
Well, Trent Alexander, it was there, found himself in the left-back berth, having broke from a corner, and when he had the ball at his feet in comfortable possession, I thought he was looking for a big diagonal pass, shoved it into midfield, really bad ball, and from that moment on, Liverpool were chasing back, and Milner done well, filling the centre of the goal and clearing the ball.
Out of play for another corner. Real Madrid second. Benzema again the target. Darwin Nunez did well to climb and head that away. Then Valverde will pick it up down by the dead ball line and swing it in. Van Dijk sweeps up. Out of play for a throw. 9 gone. 0-0. 5-2 to Real Madrid on aggregate. And Carvajal with the ball in his hand, just waiting for a little bit of movement to be supplied. Modric, the man that does so. And he slips it straight back for Carvajal again. Camavinga with the dreadlock ponytail. Plays the ball out to the Real Madrid left-hand side. Vinicius controlling it with his left foot. Plays it back with his right into the midfield for Toni Kroos. The German to Karim Benzema. Benzema on the half-turn out towards Vinicius. A lovely little drop of the shoulder and turn. Alexander-Arnold, though, stood his ground, and Kanate came across and aided his cause. Ball goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Real Madrid left. 10 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, I think even in these early stages, he knew it already, Trent Alexander, but he's got his work cut out with Vinicius Junior. Very fleet-footed, good turn of pace, real handful.
He's played 3 Champions League finals, Trent, 2 of them against Real Madrid. And he's on the back foot again. Vinicius against Trent Alexander-Arnold could well be one of the battles that shapes this game. At the moment, it's the Real Madrid player that's coming out on top. He's won a third corner of the opening 10 minutes or so. Another one for Liverpool to deal with. Just trying to lay a solid foundation in this game. But they do have this omnipresent counter-attacking threat. It's another in-swinger from Modric, a deeper one this time. Eder Militao going up for it. Van Dijk beat him in the air. Back in from Valverde, who's been in a decent vein of goal-scoring form. A looping cross in from him. Robertson heads it away from Benzema. Kroos with the effort, and good hands from Alisson, who took a couple of hasty steps across his line and snatched the ball into his midriff.
Tell you what, Alisson made that look a lot easier than it actually was. It come to the edge of the box and a half volley with his left foot. Kroos, incredible strike, great power, but probably because he put so much power on it, the direction was very straight. Alisson done well to get behind it.
We're 11 minutes in, and you're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. It's 0-0 in the Premier League. Brighton lead Palace 1-0. Brentford a goal up at Southampton in the Championship. Blackburn 1, Reading 0. West Brom lead at Cardiff. Luton 1, Bristol City 0. And goalless at Huddersfield, Hull and Sunderland. As Salah brings it forward down the Liverpool right-hand side. Fires it in the penalty area. Rudiger on the stretch clears. Jurgen Klopp in his black baseball cap turns and applauds Mo Salah as Liverpool win their first corner.
Got to say, a magnificent 60-yard ball diagonal from Van Dijk, left centre-half, to Salah, right centre-half, right wing, and he showed a great turn of pace that Madrid were pleased to knock behind for a corner.
Well, there's a problem for Eder Militao, who's showing anybody who's interested that he feels as though he's been elbowed. He's got his palm of his right hand to his forehead, just above his right eye, and he's just indicating that he believes that there was a flick of the elbow. We'll get an update very shortly from the Amex. Brighton against Crystal Palace, where the Albion lead. But first of all, this Liverpool corner that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to take. It's Liverpool's first of the game. Salah standing right in front of the much taller Thibaut Courtois. Fabinho is there. 3 or 4 more make late runs inside the area, including Van Dijk. Ended up in the air from him. But Valverde can acrobatically get it away, and he's volleyed it upfield, and the counter-attack could be on. Benzema making his way through the middle. Oh, they picked him out brilliantly. It's Karim Benzema. First touch forced him wide, and as he dragged it back on his right foot, he knocked it into his left heel, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. It remains 0-0. We'll go to Brighton on Talksport. Adrian Durham.
Brighton 1, Palace 0. Solly March's goal on 15 minutes separating the two sides. But Palace have had their chances since the goal. Odsonne Edouard played through the middle. Steele was alert and out quickly. The Brighton keeper's been brilliant tonight. Palace, a free kick on the left just a couple of minutes ago. And Joachim Andersen was up for it. He volleyed wide when perhaps he should have tested the keeper. It's Brighton 1, Palace 0.
In the Championship, Norwich leader Huddersfield 1-0. Gabriel Sara. High ball in from Kroos, a looping header back across the face of goal, and Vinicius volleyed it from 3 yards out, and Alisson saved it. He just instinctively threw a hand up and beat it away. Great reactions. Eder Militao, back for Toni Kroos. Kroos sliding it all the way back towards Dani Carvajal inside the centre circle. How is this still 0-0, Stuart?
Well, I've given up count the times I've looked at Champions League games, and they're just not cagey anymore. Both teams, whoever it may be, anywhere in Europe, just go after each other, and this game has started in a brilliant same vein, basically. Both teams looking to score, big threat on the counter-attack.
That was just a magnificent stop from Alisson. Here's Camavinga. Played for by him, cut out by Andy Robertson, and now Robertson is able to maraud forward down the left-hand side. Darwin Nunez, quicker than Valverde, but Rudiger came across from the middle, slid in, stopped the ball and the progress of Nunez, and now Real Madrid can bring it away. There's a tangle in the midfield between Valverde and Milner. Play goes on as the ball is switched out of the Real Madrid left, and Vinicius in his yellow boots just drops the shoulder, tries to arc it forward. Van Dijk's touch not the best, stopped it getting to Benzema. Almost presented it back for Vinicius, but Liverpool are able to bring it away. But just reflecting on that save from Alisson, a little bit of luck at it, just that the shot has come at him from close range, and he really hasn't got to move too much, but he just had to flick a hand up to make sure that he didn't just help it into the net. Yeah,
I mean, I thought he'd done brilliantly to cover the ground across the goal, and then at that stage just spread his body, and you're in the lap of the gods, really. You just hope once you've made a big barrier that hits part of that and comes away.
Courtois comes to the edge of his penalty area to make a save, and he will bowl it out. Real Madrid did lose 4-1 at home to Ajax in the second leg of the round of 16 4 years ago and went out. They won 2-1 in Amsterdam in the first leg. 4-1 to Liverpool tonight. We'll take this to extra time. I know you're aware there's no away goals these days. It's the second season in European competition since their abolition.
Has that helped or hindered European football, Jim, in your mind?
I think it's helped. I think it's helped it without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know how you would have felt last season when you were at West Ham and you were playing European ties, whether he would have won the away goal or wanted the away goal, but I certainly think that it's helped. It's all the better for it. Real Madrid on the front foot. Just about half-time in the Premier League games. We'll be getting the details of those in a moment. No further addition to the score. Real Madrid bring it forward. Vinicius again getting the better of Alexander-Arnold. Now faced up by Konate. Trent back in a position to recover and double up. Vinicius has beaten the two defenders and then nudged the ball one side of Salah and tried to run past him the other. And the pair of them go to ground, and the referee, I think, has found in Liverpool's favour. So we can get half-time details from Brighton against Palace. Adrian?
Yeah, half-time, Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0, and Brighton found a way past the rookie teenage keeper Joe Whitworth after 15 minutes. Karen Matoma cutting inside from the left on the surge from the halfway line. Solly March made a brilliant curling run down the centre of the field. Matoma found him, March fired home. That's how it stayed, 1-0 to Brighton. But Palace have had chances, and they've also got their midfield General Doucouré on a yellow card. He'll be lucky to see out the 90 if he stays on. Brighton 1, Palace 0.
Here's Fabinho in the centre circle for Liverpool, and to his right hand side for Cody Gakpo, and then back it goes from Mo Salah for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he's angled one over the top quite brilliantly for Salah flicking it inside, and then an opportunity for Jota, who came onto it and sliced the left-footed volley which almost found the teammate. Was nowhere near finding the net, but they worked the opening very cleverly down the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's Salah 2 or 3 occasions now that's caused a real threat down that right-hand side. He's pulled one back brilliantly, and as it's come back to Jota, he's hit it with his left foot, but it's just skewed off the side of his foot. I'm not sure whether he should have taken a touch. I'm really not sure.
Half-time in the Premier League at St Mary's. Ian Abrahams.
Southampton 0, Brentford 1. The goal from Ivan Toney, a corner flicked on by Norgard. Toney stabbed in 2 yards out. Bazunu's been the busier keeper, saving once one-on-one from Brian Mbeumo at the other end. Southampton haven't really tested David Raya. At the break, Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
Valverde through the legs of the referee to find Toni Kroos. 0-0 with 19 minutes gone between Real Madrid and Liverpool on Talksport, with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce talking through the action. Kroos firing one out towards Dani Carvajal. The ball just slows down almost to a stop around the edge of the penalty area. It's played into the feet of Luka Modric. Back for Kroos again. Kroos turns and finds Rudiger. Rudiger, who lost the FA Cup and League Cup finals against Liverpool last season at the back end of his Chelsea career. Now Real Madrid bring it forward once more. Camavinga getting himself into a shooting position. He's closed out by Milner and he's hit the bar. And Robertson, as the ball comes back off the bar, can cushion a header to his keeper.
I think Alisson's got a touch on that. I may be wrong. We'll just have a little look at a replay on that. He was way off his line. I'm not sure he did actually get a touch, but certainly a hell of an effort from there. And once again, another effort at goal, and the scoreline stays 0-0. How? I'm not sure.
Well, Liverpool's defensive line has led a little bit of a charmed life so far. But the positives from the first leg, such as they were, certainly in the opening 15 minutes, and occasionally after that as well, a lot of them came down the right-hand side, where tonight they've put Nacho, who's played at centre-half as much as he's played at left-back, and probably more, in that position, just to try and stop the interchange of passes. As another cross comes in from the Liverpool right. That's certainly the area that's given them the most joy at the moment. In terms of the heat map, it's a much more attacking threat down that side. Now a mistake by Carvajal, took a touch inside his own penalty area, was able to work it back for his goalkeeper, and Courtois, the epitome of calm, as he just walked onto it and clipped it out towards the left-hand side where Benzema can feed Vinicius. Trent Alexander-Arnold out of position for a moment. He's running at Konate. Fabinho dropped back in. Valverde's got it though in a central position. To his right-hand side is Modric. Modric trying to scoop a ball in with the outside of the right boot. Comes off Milner and goes out of play for a corner.
Yeah, even at these early stages, first 20 minutes or so, it's, well, just watch that replay. Just going back to that effort from Camavinga. Magnificent stop. Absolutely magnificent stop by Alisson. Going right in the top bag, looping down, dropping over his head. Just fingertipped onto the bar. And looking at the threats of both teams, Real Madrid, Vinicius Junior down the left, Salah down the right for Liverpool.
Yeah, all the play concentrated on the far touchline as we're looking at it. As the latest Real Madrid corner comes in and Fabinho deals with it. Vinicius has it again. Milner drops back and heads that one away. Only as far as Modric. Flying effort from him. From the edge of the D. Alisson didn't get a hand to that. And it's ended up going over the bar. And Jurgen Klopp stands, hands outstretched. Big grin on his face. He knows that at the moment Liverpool just powerless to stop this wave after wave of Real Madrid attack. The bottom line is they haven't found a way through so far.
They certainly haven't. But the one thing that I think is worrying Klopp a little bit, and he stood there on the touchline with a wry smile on his face with his arms out, was the ball's been headed out the box maybe 4 or 5 times now, Jim, and it's been a Real Madrid player with time to get it down or hit it on the half volley that's caused big problems.
Well, at the moment, Real Madrid with 62% of the possession. Now they've had 7 shots to Liverpool's 2. On a night when Liverpool need a win by 3 goals, they've only had the 1 shot on target so far. We're midway through the first half. Andy Robertson's got possession. Finds Fabinho in the centre of midfield. From him to Milner and back for Van Dijk. And now Milner will be able to bring the ball forward again. Jota taking a touch, slipping it to his left. Robertson gets it in. Carvajal with his arms behind his back at pains to make sure he didn't handle it or wasn't adjudged to have handled it. The cross flicked off him and was then cleared. Liverpool get it again on halfway. Milner back for Van Dijk. Fabinho once more. In the WSL, 1 game tonight, Spurs leading Leicester 1-0 through Beth England. As Milner goes back for Fabinho. And Fabinho just nudges it away from Karim Benzema. Alexander-Arnold finding himself right in the heart of central midfield as if he was a Manchester City fullback for a moment. And he goes towards Gakpo. Fabinho. Gakpo again, turning in possession. Off to his left-hand side for Milner. Milner to Robertson. Robertson back for Van Dijk in his white boots inside the centre circle. Fabinho now can bring the ball forward. Toni Kroos just tried to hurry Fabinho into a hasty pass out towards Salah, and Nacho, the bearded Spaniard, headed after Salah as soon as he got there and was able to put it out of play for a throw. Hugely entertaining, somehow still goalless with 24 minutes gone, but 5-2 to Real Madrid on aggregate remains the state of play. The other Champions League tie tonight between Napoli and Eintracht Frankfurt is goalless on the night, 2-0 to the Italians. It would be a miracle for Eintracht Frankfurt if they were able to salvage that. Napoli have won 10 and lost only 1 of their last 12 games. Eintracht themselves without a win in 4, but that's a day on the west coast of Italy that has been marred by violence. They will be at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona next week. England travel to face Italy, and that one is live for you on Talksport as the international season starts next week. Tomorrow night, Real Betis against Manchester United in the Europa League is over on Talksport 2. It's a 5:45 kickoff. And then our first live Premier League game of the weekend, Friday night, Nottingham Forest against Newcastle, with Joe Shannon and Lucy Ward talking through the action from the East Midlands. Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Friday night at 8 on Talksport. Real Madrid have the ball in the midfield. Kroos with a measured ball out towards his left-hand side for Benzema. The flag stayed down for now against Vinicius. Poking it towards goal. It's Alisson. Fabinho maybe slightly slow to react, but got there ahead of Benzema to the seconds, and then the flag comes up. Free kick to Liverpool inside their own penalty area. So much work to do. Actually, having seen the replay, I don't think he was offside, but Alisson had made the save anyway. It's 0-0.
No, it was touch and go, but this is how ludicrous the law of the game is. The flag goes up really late, and Liverpool have got the ball back at that stage.
Nunez twisting and turning, getting the better of Nacho, getting his cross in. It looped out towards the far side of the area for Robertson. He fires it back in, and Modric glances it clear. Now out to Fabinho. Trent Alexander-Arnold with a delivery. Flick header from Gakpo. Went wide. And Jota couldn't quite react quickly enough to a ball that flashed past his thigh, and he couldn't divert it goal bound. So still 0-0. Liverpool opportunities a rarity. Real Madrid have conceded 3, which is what's going to have to happen tonight in 3 of their last 22 games. It's not as if it's a completely impregnable defence. They've only kept 3 clean sheets in their last 22 matches in the knockout stages of the Champions League as well. But so far, they have been able to hold firm. Courtois hasn't had a difficult save to make. Alisson, with a stack of them at the other end, has been inspirational so far. Here's Modric, finding Toni Kroos in the midfield. 27 minutes gone.
I tell you what, Madrid have done probably slightly better than Liverpool. Well, not slightly, a lot better than Liverpool. Every time they've had an attack and the ball's come clear, Madrid have got onto the ball and stained the attack or had a shot from the edge of the box. Liverpool, when they've got up the other end, when it's been cleared, it's normally been a white shirt that's got on the ball and relieved the pressure.
There's Camavinga. Camavinga to his left for Benzema. And now another opportunity for Real Madrid to be able to bring the ball forward. Benzema's got it again. Just past the Camavinga and back for Luka Modric in the central position. Ball in towards the edge of the penalty area. Carvajal did really well, and then so too did Milner, because as it was laid down towards Valverde, Milner came back in and blocked it, and it goes out of play for a throw. Now let's get an update from one of the championship games at the Stadium of Light, where Sheffield United can strengthen their hold on second place. They're away at Sunderland in front of Talksport's Graham Courtney, but there's been a bit of a skirmish in your game.
Yeah, there certainly has. It's one of those things where he felt as though Trey Hume actually might have been sent off, but he's been given a yellow card. He's just gone straight through Tommy Doyle. Really good game, this one, end to end. I have to say, it's mainly Sheffield United who are certainly over the last 5 or 6 minutes looking likely to score. At the moment, though, Jim, 28 gone, Sunderland 0, Sheffield United 0.
Thank you, Graham. Goalless as well. Hull against leaders Burnley. And in the other championship games, Leeds for Blackburn, West Brom, Norwich and Luton. Salah and Nacho just involved in a little bit of a wrestling match. Nacho pulling Salah down to the floor. And it's going to be a Liverpool free kick and an opportunity to get the ball forward from just inside Real Madrid territory. Out it goes towards Salah. Salah coming in off the right flank. Left-footed delivery that's easily headed away by Dani Carvajal. What do Liverpool need to show more of to be able to construct better attacking opportunities? As Robertson plays it in, here's an awkward bounce and Rudiger deals with it.
I think they've got to do 2 things, Jim, for me. Keep supplying Salah with the ball, because I think he's got Nacho where he wants him. He's got him for pace and gone past him a couple of times. I think that's the match-up that helped Liverpool. And secondly, when they do get forward, sustain the attack. There's been too many times where the ball's been cleared to the edge of the box and it's been a Madrid player that's got their foot on it first and managed to alleviate any pressure build-up or a sustained attack. They're the 2 things they've got to do slightly better.
It remains 0-0, predominantly thanks to Alisson, but the deadlock has been broken on Wearside. Graham Courtney.
Absolutely, more or less from the kick-off. Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 0, and it is Edouard Michoud who's got the goal. Fast break by Sunderland, and he's finished it really, really well. Top corner, Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 0.
So that means that Hull Burnley's the only goalless game in the Championship, except for the fact it isn't anymore. Mark Wilson.
No, the leaders are in front. Hull 0, Burnley 1. Nathan Teller with his 15th of the season beat the offside chap, cut in on his left foot and drilled a low shot past Darlow. Hull 0, Burnley 1.
Every game in the Championship now 1-0, all 0-1. Blackburn leading Reading, West Brom leading at Cardiff, Norwich leading at Huddersfield, Burnley leading at Hull, and then Luton, a goal up at home to Bristol City, and Sunderland lead Sheffield United 1-0. Here's Milner. Oh, brilliant turn from him. 37-year-old just dragging studs over the top of the ball and getting the better of Luka Modric. Nunez with a looping header. It's an effort on target and nothing more. It was very comfortably claimed by Thibaut Courtois.
Tell you what, unfortunate there. Liverpool put the ball in the box several occasions and just, for me, took the wrong option. Nunez should just cushion that down to Jota. Jota's took a volley on where maybe taking a touch might have been better. They've just had a few near misses for good attempts, if you like.
Trent Alexander-Arnold on the Liverpool right. Now James Milner making his way down the line. Gets it back after the initial effort is cleared. Then tries to find a way past Kroos. Kroos and Milner both claiming it's their ball. But the referee has given a goal kick to Real Madrid. Half-time whistle's beginning to go in the Championship now. Let's go to Ewood. Blackburn leading Reading. Mickey Gray.
Where it is Blackburn 1, Reading 0. The home side getting their noses in front on 2 minutes from Brereton Diaz. It was a break with a 3v1 situation. The ball was played out to Diaz, and with his right foot he just slotted the ball into the bottom corner. They should have been out of sight, Blackburn, already. They've had really good opportunities from Sam Gallagher on a couple of occasions, one with his head and one with his right foot over the bar, and it really, Reading haven't really threatened at all. Work for Paul Ince to do at half-time. Blackburn 1, Reading 0.
Real Madrid have it again on halfway. Played into the feet of Karim Benzema. The half-time whistle's gone at Kenilworth Road. Jeff Peters.
Luton lead Bristol City 1-0. Carlton Morris heading in his 16th league goal of the season after just 4 minutes. Almost got a second when Adebayo beat the keeper, but Sykes hooked off the line. Bristol City haven't had a single shot, and they trail Luton 1-0.
Karim Benzema probably, and yes, confirmed as being in an offside position as the ball comes into his feet. And it's a free kick which Liverpool will take. They have got players banging form in the Champions League. Salah scored in his last 6 Champions League ties. That's 8 goals in the process. Nunez has scored in his last 4, both on target inside the opening 15 minutes of the first leg. Here's Nunez again now, and it's probably going wide, but Courtois got the fingers of his left hand to it just to make sure. Decent save, diving away to his left-hand side. He's conceded a corner.
I'll tell you what, this game, I wouldn't say it's on a knife edge, but I'll tell you what, a goal in Liverpool's favour will be very, very interesting. At this moment in time, Liverpool's strongest card, I would say, is the fact that they've kept a clean sheet so far. So while it stays that way, I still feel as though they've got that reaction if they do get the first goal.
They have their second corner, and Andy Robertson's going to take it. Fabinho lurking with intent, swung right down the throat of the goalkeeper with Salah trying to make life difficult for him. It's half clear. Gakpo Konate was having his shirt pulled there, but no complaints to him as he chested it down and volleyed it straight out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, he probably done quite well getting his body in the way. I think it was Kroos who was putting him under a little bit of pressure, and then he just needed to steady himself a little bit more, got under his effort, skied it.
Well, Real Madrid lost at home to Barcelona a fortnight ago. That was the first game they've had at home without a shot on target for 13 years. It is, though, the only home defeat they've suffered all season. That was a Copa del Rey semi-final tie. And the only loss they've had is 17 games at the Santiago Bernabeu this season. They've got possession with Vinicius. Vinicius chipping it through the midfield, but not to good effect because it was straight onto the head of Darwin Nunez, and then Milner feeds Robertson. Robertson comes forward. First touch was a little bit loose. The second became a tackle. Real Madrid have it back with Modric.
I think Robertson done well there, pulling out of that challenge. He was stretching for it, and you know and I know, Jim, the roll of your eyes just then.
He did well to get that foot retracted in time. His Vinicius breaking with pace inside the area. Low shot straight into the hands of the diving Alisson.
Once again, it's that side of the pitch. You know, Vinicius Junior is causing a lot of problems that side, and the best thing to do, certainly from Trent Alexander's point of view, is make sure they starve Real Madrid of getting the ball there.
So is Trent doing anything wrong?
Well, he's being asked to go and supplement anything attacking-wise, so he's inverting from that full-back area into midfield. So he's not in an area where if there is a turnover, it's Konate that has to get out of there, but one-on-one.
As Milner plays it in, layoff from Salah, Jota, Gakpo stinging the palms of the goalkeeper. And Liverpool have tested him twice in as many minutes.
Yeah, as I was saying, with Vinicius Junior, I think he's got the beating of Trent Alexander. But the other side of that is, up the same length of pitch, Salah's got it of Nacho as well. So it's just which one dips their bread better than the other, really. And Liverpool just need the rub of the green. Had a couple of efforts at this moment in time, but just not had the rub of the green that's ended up in the back of the net.
A half-time Cardiff 0, West Brom 1 in the Championship. Daryl Dike's goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold with a low skidding corner in towards the near post area where Salah had made a run and Benzema followed him. Well, it was a good job from a Real Madrid perspective that he did. He just able to get his left foot in front of the Egyptian to hammer it away. And back out of play for another corner.
Yeah, intelligent corner there. Don't know whether it was a worked corner or not, but I think Trent Alexander identified the movement of Salah at the near post and whipped one low into his feet.
Alexander-Arnold with a more conventional delivery this time. Van Dijk heads it into the fray. Milner snatches at a right-footed volley, which is blocked, and Jota then is offside as he comes to meet the ball. He was pulled down by Benzema, but the flag was up anyway. Also in the Championship, half-time, Huddersfield 0, Norwich 1, and half-time at Hull. Here's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Hull 0, Burnley 1. Nathan Teller's 43rd minute strike, his 15th of the season. Beat the offside chap down the right-hand side, cut back in, fired a low left-foot shot past Darlow in the bottom corner. They missed a couple of early chances. Barnes headed over and then his touch let him down. Hull not offering too much going the other way, but Palace-Loney, Malcolm Ebiowe has looked promising for Hull, but they've got it all to do. The leaders lead. It's Hull 0, Burnley 1.
And if it stays that way, Burnley will need a maximum of 9 points from their last 9 games to go up. They are 101 on. It is a question of when rather than if. Ball is played forward. Mo Salah has just trodden possibly on the Achilles of Nacho. He's leaning over him to apologise for that. Talking of 100-1 on shots, Alan Brazil's on breakfast tomorrow. Maybe just an area, just a little element of doubt as whether he will have enjoyed Coral's hospitality sufficiently not to make it for 6 o'clock. It's always that week of the year when I know the management have set an early alarm just to check the runners and riders are there for day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival.
Well, I'm sure there'll be cover, a substitute getting warmed up, stretching off. I must admit, I rang Ali McCoist today at around midday to form him in about a couple of gigs that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, and hadn't realised until I heard all the background noise, I think, from the Guinness Village. He said things were getting a little bit lively down at Cheltenham.
By midday. You can wake up with Talksport Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6. Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy, both guaranteed contractually to be there for 6 o'clock. They're hosting live from Cheltenham, and they're going to be joined by Bournemouth manager Gary O'Neill and managerial royalty Harry Redknapp as well. It's Talksport's Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 with 6.5 minutes to go to half-time. Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0, as well as looking ahead to Cheltenham. There will, of course, be reflections on everything that has happened tonight. And as things stand at the moment, Liverpool's exit from the Champions League, but they are still on level terms tonight. Absolutely essential that they go in at half-time at least with parity. That goes without saying. I think ideally they would have wanted to be one up by half-time. Might still be, of course, as Rudiger knocks the ball out. As Alexander-Arnold brought it forward. And Liverpool in that difficult position where at some stage they're going to have to twist a lot more than they're sticking. Possession-wise, much nearer 50-50 than it was earlier in the game. They are trying to be proactive and take the game to Real Madrid, but they just need something to happen.
What surprised me a little bit, certainly after the first leg, I think that Courtois and Rudiger are there to be pressed aggressively. And I think they've had a couple of occasions where they've pressed in isolation instead of going as a group press, and I think they've got every chance of turning it over. Neither of those two give me confidence when they're pressed aggressively.
Do you think they miss Mane in that regard, the man that really used to lead the press?
Well, certainly, there's no doubt about that. But I think Salah goes after people, but I'd just like to see maybe Jota and Nunez back him up aggressively as well.
And Jota, on that occasion, did force an errant pass, which was seized upon by Robertson. 5 minutes to go to half-time. It's 0-0, 5-2 to Real Madrid on aggregate. Ball is played back for Virgil van Dijk. Controls it inside the centre circle. Centre circle that is a little bit scuffed up. It's almost like it's got some snowy footprints on it. Just where the top surface has just been taken away a little. Long ball out towards Alexander-Arnold, missed its target. It's out of play for a Real Madrid throw. This week last year they lost 4-0 at home to Barcelona. That is the only home game they've had in the last 97 that has ended with a scoreline that would even get Liverpool to extra time tonight. And that shows the magnitude of the task facing them this evening. Still 0-0 on the night. Nacho back for Rudiger is down on the left-hand touchline, struggling to get it clear. Fabinho can pick it up. Vinicius just abstaining from defensive duty for a moment. But Liverpool couldn't make the most of that. Clever touch from Camavinga. And lets Merengue work it back to the edge of the centre circle. It was a contribution from the Frenchman that was widely applauded by the home support. And Courtois can work it out, and Eder Militao will bring it forward. Gets to within 10 yards of the halfway line and just knocks it into space for Luka Modric. Modric to Carvajal and straight back again. Milner applies the pressure. Camavinga uses the ball intelligently once more to go back for Courtois. Kroos has dropped deep to split the two centre-halves. He plays it to his left-hand side for Rudiger. And Rudiger just puts his foot through it to lace it out towards Dani Carvajal. And he will be able to bring it forward now. Slips it into the feet of Karim Benzema, who's making 633rd Real Madrid appearance tonight. Konate, Valverde, putting the pressure on. There was a pull of the shirt there. Valverde on Konate. And a free kick is given. I'll tell you what is always obvious, when you get two real blue chip teams playing in the Champions League, the huge amount of respect that the individuals have for each other. Whenever there is a foul, there's always a handshake and a word of apology afterwards. And you can tell that just enjoying playing in a game of this magnitude.
I think there's definitely a respect. These are top players that are playing at the top end of their game, you know.
Milner works it forward, Eder Militao cuts it straight out. We talked before the game about the way that Liverpool would line up, playing this ultra-attacking formation with Gakpo playing off Jota and Nunez on the left-hand side and Salah on the right. It hasn't always worked. I understand the desire of Jurgen Klopp to get his principal attacking options all on the pitch at the same time, but they haven't worked cohesively as a unit on a consistent basis throughout the game. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that will be fair to say. I think they've created a few chances, but not clear-cut chances. I think Madrid have probably had the slightly better chances out of the two teams, but both have had opportunities to create something and score.
And the shot count's actually dead level now. Gakpo is offside. He wasn't interfering with play to start with, but then came back, got himself embroiled in it. Might have been a handball in there as well. Certainly hit his arm. A handball in the European parameters of handball as opposed to the Premier League ones.
I'm not sure how you can be offside there. I've seen Marcus Rashford in a Manchester derby run behind a ball and not be flagged offside. I've seen Gakpo coming towards his own goal and getting back onside. Toni Kroos has played the ball then, which renders him onside because it's a back pass. And then he's been flagged either offside. I don't think the linesman could see a handball from there.
Well, that's got to be offside as well, as it's played in towards the feet of Valverde. And it's a Liverpool free kick this time. A reminder that the two live Premier League games, both on the Talksport network tonight. Brighton lead Palace 1-0. And that's on Talksport 2 right now, about 10 minutes into the second half, and a similar distance at St Mary's, where Basement Boys Southampton trying to avoid a 6 home defeat in 7 in the league, and they're a goal down at home to a Brentford side who've only lost one of the last 13 league games. That is on the Talksport app. So if you've got the Talksport app, go to live games and everything will become immediately apparent for you. We'll get the details of those games very shortly. We're just coming up to the half-time whistle here. The fourth official, Sven Jablonski, has just shown that there are going to be an extra couple of minutes at the end of this first half. Carvajal brings it away, and then Darwin Nunez just sticks his hands round his ribcage and hauls him to the ground. Free kick which will be taken by Real Madrid, and I think we're destined to go in a half-time goalless here. But there has been another goal just before the break on Wearside. Graham Courtney.
It's the equaliser, Jim. Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 1. It's been coming as well throughout the entire 45 minutes, and eventually it's George Baldock who's managed to well from the corner of the 6-yard box, and he's played it across the face of the goal and into the bottom of the corner. They deserve it as well. Approaching half-time, Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 1.
Real Madrid on the front foot towards the edge of the penalty area. It's Karim Benzema, and his right-footed effort hits Milner, and is saved by Alisson. Well, plenty for Jurgen Klopp to consider. He'll be wondering whether he can gamble any more As we mentioned, when you've got Benzema and Vinicius on the pitch, you have to do everything with an air of caution. But Liverpool very much in last chance saloon. Salah plays it out towards Alexander-Arnold. Now trying to make the cross to the right hand side of the penalty area, and Rudiger smuggles it away and out of play for a corner. There's a little double fist pump from him. He's delighted with that defensive contribution. Stopped the ball getting across, and it's a corner to Liverpool right at the end of the half.
Yeah, they've had some pretty good opportunities in the final third, Liverpool, but that real confidence of going and finishing it off, or taking the right technique to finish it, I think something's just been missing, I think, Jim. I don't know what you think.
No, I agree. Can't put my finger on quite what it is. Fifth corner for Liverpool. Swung way outside the penalty area for Cody Gakpo. And Gakpo wanted a little bit too much time, and Valverde denied him any. Loose ball breaks for Robertson. He can swing it back in. The 2 minutes of stoppage time are up as the ball is headed away out towards Karim Benzema, and the whistle blows. Well, 7 goals in the first leg, none so far in the second, and that's music to the ears of Real Madrid fans. Liverpool just about in this tie, thanks to some brilliance from Alisson. 2 stunning saves, one that he tipped onto the bar, and another from point-blank range to deny Vinicius. But with 45 minutes to go, they need 3 unanswered goals, and there are no signs of the miracle of Madrid happening yet. Half-time, Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0. Adrian?
And as it stands, Real Madrid will be heading through 5-2 on aggregate, and Liverpool will be heading out of the Champions League, and they will not be winning a trophy this season. But I think it's fair to say, Stuart Pearce, that it's been a lively half. Liverpool have given it a go, and it's actually a surprise that it's 0-0 right now.
It certainly is. I think both teams have done extremely well, creating good half chances is what I would say. It's been a pretty open game from end to end. Vinicius Junior certainly been the most effective player in a white shirt. Salah, I think, is the most effective Liverpool player at this moment in time. But what Liverpool, well, they're going at half time, and I'm sure Jurgen will think to himself, the real plus is we haven't conceded a goal. The other side of that is that real little belief when we have entered the final third. We need to find a finish and get this first goal, and I think if they do that, I think it just could rock Madrid.
Yeah, it's a great point. That first goal is crucial. We're still waiting for it. Vinicius Junior early on in the half, close range. Alisson pulls off a save. I mean, does it hit Alisson or does he make the save? But either way, it's a miracle it stays out the back of the net.
Yeah, it does. But listen, when goalkeepers get across their goal like Alisson did and spreads his body, you deserve all the luck you can get if it is luck. Yes, it is arm as he spread out, but it's bravery to get across and spread his body. Good goalkeeping in my book.
Yeah, and listen, if that first goal doesn't come, and if as longer the game goes on, we know that Liverpool will be heading out. It's about pride, and I think so far in the 45 minutes, the Liverpool players can stick their hands in the air and say, listen, we've given it a great shot. We're at the home of the European champions, and we're matching them. We know it went wrong in the first leg, but at least there is a bit of pride there. And those fans that have travelled, those fans who are listening back at home, I think that they will feel, yeah, at least they haven't capitulated and not given up.
I totally agree. As I say, I'm sure from Jurgen's point of view, he wants the team to go out there and put a performance on, a standalone performance. Bear in mind, they've just come on the back of a 1-0 defeat at Bournemouth where they didn't play particularly well. So he'd want a performance, and if the result follows, all well and good, but certainly a performance is paramount.
Well, let's see what happens in the second half, Stuart, for the time being. Thank you very much. Half-time live on Talksport. Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0, and therefore Real Madrid leading by 5-2 on aggregate. It's half-time in the 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship at the Stadium of Light. Graham Courtney.
Yep, players just traipsing off. It's Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 1, and do you know what? Early on in this game, it was nearly all the Blades. It was only a matter of time before they scored, but they didn't, for the simple reason being they were enjoying so much of the possession. It was around about 73-74% of the time. We then had Sunderland's Trey Hume. He was booked for a really heavy tackle, but the Blades made an absolute mess of the free kick. Sunderland broke away. The ball was then fired out to the right flank. Edouard Michoud, he'd actually picked it up. He's on loan from PSG, and from the corner of the 18-yard box, he's let fly, and what a goal. It rocketed him to the top corner, and that's his first goal since coming to the club. But I have to say that Sheffield United, they deserved an equaliser, and it came just on the stroke of half-time. Sunderland, well, they should have cleared the danger from their own box. The ball eventually squirting out to George Baldock, and, well, he's found James McAtee just on the edge of the 6-yard area, and I thought he was going to pass it, but he's actually fired it in across the face of Anthony Patterson's goal. They certainly deserved that one, because early on it was all Sheffield United, and they really have brought several decent saves out of Anthony Patterson. Young up-and-coming goalkeeper as well for Sunderland Football Club, being linked with several moves away from this place as well. Leicester City, one of the clubs that are actually interested in him, but he's been tested quite a few times. Doing well though, but I have to say at the moment, Sheffield United, they deserve this equaliser. It's half-time at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 1.
Let me run you through the scores elsewhere. So in the Premier League, live on Talksport 2, I'm actually here at the Amex, where it's Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. Solly March after 15 minutes with the only goal. 63 or so minutes gone now. Brighton 1, Palace 0. And at St Mary's, Southampton 0. Brentford's 1 is live on the Talksport app. Champions League, Napoli have taken the lead against Frankfurt. Of course, it's Victor Osimhen who's got the goal. 3-0 up on aggregate, and Napoli are heading through. The young Palace keeper has just made a great save, Joe Whitworth, from a close-range header. Brilliant one-handed stop. Stays 1-0 to Brighton here. He's kept Palace in the game. FA Women's Super League, it's Spurs 1, Leicester 0. An absolute worldy, brilliant goal from Bethany England to give Spurs the lead. They're in injury time, and Spurs a much-needed victory if they hold on. Championship, Blackburn 1, Reading 0, Cardiff 0, West Brom 1, Huddersfield 0, Norwich 1, Hull 0, Burnley 1. It's Luton 1, Bristol City 0, and Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 1, as you just heard from the Stadium of Light. Plenty to play for then in those games. Liverpool need to get the first goal in the second half. Live on Talksport, it's Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0, and Liverpool heading out of the Champions League 5-2 on aggregate. You're listening to Kick Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Kick Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
It was a day like any other. You'd walk the dog, gone to work, and done the big shop. When suddenly, out of nowhere...
Oh no.
I need a pharmacist! Take the drama out of minor illnesses, from coughs and colds to itchy eyes and earache. For expert advice, speak to your pharmacist. Your NHS is here for you.
Some things leave you guessing. Like, why are yawns contagious? But not MailChimp. MailChimp eliminates guesswork from email marketing by analysing data from billions of emails to offer up personalised recommendations for how to improve your email content and targeting. Guess less and sell more with Intuit MailChimp.
Can I help you, sir?
Oh, I hope so. It's Jimmy here, my budgie. He hasn't made a sound for weeks, so I thought I'd better bring him down here to the vets.
Right.
He used to be so cheerful, chirping away all day, but now, listen, nothing. He's lost his voice. Is there anything you can recommend?
Maybe try the Specsavers next door?
Lost sounds? Specsavers could help you find them. With qualified audiologists and hearing aids from £495, you're better off with Specsavers. Book a free hearing test today.
I'm coming in hot. The McSpicy is back at McDonald's, and this time it's here to stay. So it's time to celebrate those McSpicy faces. Be proud of it. Stand tall. Flaunt your beads of sweat. Embrace those ever so slightly tingly lips, and proudly do that slow breathing in and out thing that doesn't really do much. Own your McSpicy face, because with 100% chicken breast and a spicy crispy coating, the McSpicy is coming in hot. Served after 11 a.m.
So, took my date to Nando's last night, right? Medium half chicken, spicy rice, garlic bread. Cause man needs no menu. Anyway, she goes, I've never had Nando's garlic bread. And I'm like, what? So, gave her half, she takes a bite, and I swear down, it was love. Then, she binned me off for nicking her last chip. Madness. Nando's, this must be the place.
Discover your fast track to Formula One with a Now Sports membership.
And It's lights out and away we go!
Cut to the chase and stream the new season live for just £21 a month.
Wow! We're going to see some good racing. Strap in and welcome along to the ride. Let's go!
Your shortcut to Formula One is now.
It looks beautiful. It is beautiful.
18 plus. Offer ends 19th March. Auto renews at £34.99 per month after 12 months and is cancelled. Sky Sports content streamed via internet. Full terms apply.
17 hours and 12 minutes.
Without the right kit, life is slower. So if your PC is slowing you down, visit pcspecialist.co.uk, where you'll find high-performance custom-built gaming PCs and laptops powered by Windows 11 that you can customise to match your needs. PC Specialist. Playtime anytime. Visit pcspecialist.co.uk.
I hate to be that guy, but come on, you've put it off long enough. That home and garden to-do list, that's a job for the Trust a Trader professionals. Experts at what they do. Each tradesperson's got verified reviews and has passed the Trust a Trader 15-point assessment, taking you from to-do to ta-da. And who doesn't want to be that guy? Find the Trust a Trader professionals at
trustatrader.com.
Love the Cheltenham Festival. Love studying the form. Then make more of each day with a Cheltenham Bet Bundle from Coral. 5 bets to use on the day's races. Like our premium bet bundle. Pay £5 and get £10 of bets. Cheltenham Bet Bundles. Only from Coral. 18 plus UK ROI and online only. Ends 17:30 on 17/3/23. Real money purchase of £5 to get a racing bet bundle. 5 times £2. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
Champions League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
UEFA Champions League football. What a goal! Live on Talksport.
Back here at the Amex, this one live on TalkSport 2 right now. Brighton 1, Palace 0, IU for Elise. The latest change from Patrick Vieira. On the TalkSport app, Southampton 0, Brentford 1, halfway through the second half there. And I can tell you that in the WSL, Spurs have beaten Leicester by a goal to nil. Much needed win for Spurs, and it was a brilliant winner from the England striker Bethany England. Let's get the halftime odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Alex Apati from Ladbrokes. Listen, it's goalless Real Madrid, Liverpool. Real Madrid heading through 5-2 on aggregate, and I think the clever money will be with them. But it's been a lively first half. I'm amazed there's been no goals.
Yeah, pretty even Stevens so far, isn't it? Matching each other across the board, possession, shots, dangerous attacks, bit of everything. And whether it's the first leg, it'd be pretty ideal for Liverpool. Unfortunately, it's not, though, and it's pretty perfect for Madrid at the moment. It could have been better, of course, but for a couple of great saves from Alisson. 45 minutes to go now. All the hosts have to do is avoid a complete collapse in this second half, and they're in the last 8. They're still around 1 to 100 to qualify, remember. Liverpool are 22 to 1 shots now to go through, and they've got to go for it now, no excuses. I think as a supporter, you'd probably even take a defeat going for it rather than a 0-0, I'm sure. No game at the weekend either, with an international break up next as well. It really is all or nothing for Liverpool in the next 25 minutes. They're 7-4 to win the game. Real Madrid are 8-5 shots, and in terms of personnel and going all out, I'm not really sure what more Liverpool can do, given they've already got 4 attackers on the pitch. They're 11-10 to get the next goal of the game. We mentioned that 0-0. 11-2 says it finishes goalless. I don't see that happening. Liverpool 3 goals down at half-time in the Champions League in a year where the final is in Istanbul. All sounds a pretty familiar script, actually. So maybe if they get the first goal of the game, Gerrard-esque, we might see an upset this evening, but probably not, mate.
Yeah, they definitely need that early goal in the second half. Alex, thanks very much. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Well, here at the Amex in the Premier League, it's still Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. There's been a brilliant save from the rookie teenage keeper, Crystal Palace's Joe Whitworth. One-handed save from him to keep it at 1-0, to keep Crystal Palace in the game. But every time Brighton come forward. They look so fluent. They look so bright, so sharp, playing some great football. Alexis McAllister right at the centre of everything. The movement is superb, and they're all so confident on the ball. You can see why even the players this week have been talking about the possibility of them challenging for a top 4 spot in Champions League football next season. But it's still only 1 goal the difference. Solly March on 15 minutes. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. Let's find out what's happening in the other Premier League game tonight at St Mary's. Ian Abrahams.
18 minutes left. Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Ivan Toney's first half goal. Adrian flick on from Norgard from a corner. Tony 2 yards out, stabbed home. Second half, Southampton have been much better. We've had a Shea Adams effort cleared off the line by Hickey, and we've also had a Ward-Prowse free kick that was so close to bringing Southampton level. They've thrown on all the artillery they've got from the bench, but can they find an equaliser? As the ball is crossed to the far post. It's live on the Talksport app, and with 17 minutes left, it's Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
And we've got 16 minutes left of the 90 here at the Amex. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. This one live on Talksport 2. Let's go around the grounds in the Championship. These are 7:45 kickoffs at the MKM. First of all, with Talksport's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, it's still Hull 0, Burnley 1. Sorry, Hull just had a great chance as you came to there. Beoway running into the area. It's Nathan Teller's goal at the end of the first half has Burnley in front here, but Hull have offered more in the second half than they did in the entire first half. Estepinian has come on from the bench, and he's really given Hull a bit of a focal point. There's a lovely cross in from Elder down the left-hand side. Beoway mistimed his header at the far post. It fell to Estepinian. Couldn't get a good connection on his shot, and then Estepinian did beat Muric to a cross again from the left-hand side, but directed his header wide. At the other end, Vitinho's made a good run into the area, and Zarore blasted wide. Burnley leading at the moment, but just signs up Hull are getting back into this. Hull 0, Burnley 1.
Burnley are the only side that have won more home games this season in the league than Blackburn, and they're winning at home again at Ewood for Talksport. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, still Blackburn 1, Reading 0, separate by that Brereton Diaz goal on 2 minutes. So it's a little bit more balanced in the second half, albeit Blackburn have just had a brilliant opportunity through Brereton Diaz. He chopped in on his right foot and it was blocked just off the line to keep it at 1-0. But Reading are starting to get themselves back into it now, if they can try and get themselves back on level terms. Still Blackburn 1, Reading 0.
And Luton still on top at Kenilworth Road. Jeff Peters.
Yeah, Luton leading Bristol City by a goal to 0. Colton Morris early on in the game with a header. They've just come very close to getting a second goal. Max O'Leary with a really good save, close range, and it's gone out for a corner. It's Luton 1, Bristol City 0.
Elsewhere, Cardiff 0, West Brom 1, and Huddersfield are going to lose again. Neil Warnock has, they've not scored in 4 of Warnock's 5 games. If they don't score, they're going to lose again. The bottom of the table, Huddersfield 0, Norwich 1. Players coming out for the second half at the Bernabeu, where it's Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0. Liverpool needs something very special in the second half. Live on Talksport with Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
You're absolutely right. You've put it in a nutshell there. They need something extremely special. They need everything to go their way. They need quality. They need luck. They need the lot. But you never know. 45 minutes. They've got 3 goals to find just to take the game to extra time. And no sign of any changes being made by either club at the moment. Felix Vaya just waiting for the signal to get this second half underway. Real Madrid, Courtois in goal. Carvajal, Militao, Rudiger and Nacho. Modric, Camavinga and Kroos, Valverde, Benzema and Vinicius. Liverpool, Alisson in goal. Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. Fabinho and Milner. Salah, Gakpo and Nunez with Jota leading the line. We're back underway. Liverpool in all red. They're kicking from left to right as we look at it. Real Madrid in their customary all white with the black numbers and type. And the ball out of play from a first long diagonal that tried to release Nacho. That's a throw which will be taken by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Into the feet of Fabinho and straight back again, and then launch forward out of play for another throw which Real Madrid will take. Liverpool, the last team to beat Real Madrid in a Champions League final, but it was a long time ago. Alan Kennedy at the Parc des Princes, the hero that night. Real Madrid have only gone out on 2 of 37 occasions when they won the first leg away from home. One against the Danish side of Dense in the UEFA Cup back in the mid-90s. Then it happened a few years ago to Ajax. Again, we were talking about in the first half where they lost the second leg 4-1, having won the first one 2-1 in Amsterdam. Not too many signs of the first that Liverpool need, let alone the third so far, but they're still very much at it, gamely labouring on, and they're doing what they can. They've restored a little bit of pride, and any positive result tonight would certainly be that, would be a positive, even if it ended up in elimination. Here's Vinicius, chesting the ball down. Fabinho might have got there but stumbled, and then when he slid in, he got enough for the ball to get Liverpool back in possession again. Diogo Jota taking on Carvajal, and Liverpool have the first corner of the second half. Alongside me, England's former World Cup defender Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, just looking at Jota there, I've been probably a little bit disappointed in the games that I've seen since he's come back from injury. You know, maybe I'm expecting a little too much of him, but certainly pre-injury he was a real handful for a lot of defences. I know from experience at West Ham last year he was caused us a lot of problems.
In comes the corner from the Liverpool left-hand side from Robertson. Camavinga can head it away. Back out towards Milner. Now to Trent Alexander-Arnold, a straight ball forward, which is headed down towards the penalty spot by Gakpo. Camavinga skewers it clear. Salah picks up the loose ball. Fabinho guarding it back in, too hot. And away from Nunez, and not close enough to Robertson, and he goes out of play for a goal kick. Going back to that point you're making about Jota, clearly the injuries have had an effect, but there seems to be a real crisis of confidence as well, when he hasn't scored in 28 games, which is a run that goes back to last April when he scored against Manchester City in the league. In this competition he's only netted one in his last 22 Champions League ties. Just needs a goal to get himself back off and running again.
Yeah, as you say, you're right there. I mean, I was just going by eye, to be fair, and not looking at the stats, but Jim, you've backed that up quite incredibly. Those stats are incredible, and this is a player that when he turned up from Wolves, the impact he had, you thought to yourself, wow, that's a really, really good signing. It's amazing, just that break in your career, the injury, and well, it's so difficult to snatch form back.
Yeah, just his 7th start of the season in all competitions tonight. Valverde, such an adaptable player with his versatility, can play on the right of 3 in central midfield, can play holding in midfield, can also play as a slightly unorthodox right winger. That's the role that he tends to be in for these big Champions League games. He is tonight. Comes down for Rudiger. Rudiger fall through the midfield for Camavinga, and then Nacho will work it back to his goalkeeper. Statistics have been pretty level in nearly every commodity so far, both sides having 4 shots on target. Real Madrid have had 9 to Liverpool's 8 all told, similar amount of corners, but the one area is pass completion where Real Madrid are much better than Liverpool. But I think that is a product of the fact that Liverpool have been mixing it up. They're trying to look longer, much more frequently than Real Madrid, to get in behind the Real Madrid back line. Her leaders Burnley have doubled their advantage at Hull. Here's Mark Wilson.
They have indeed, and it's that man Nathan Teller again. Great cross from the left-hand side from Maatsen into the 6-yard box. Teller couldn't miss, he didn't miss. Hull 0, Burnley 2.
10th of the season in all competitions for Nathan Teller. And Burnley are going to be a maximum of 9 points away from a return to the Premier League. They're involved in FA Cup action, of course, away to Manchester City this weekend. We've got all 4 FA Cup quarter-finals live for you on the Talksport network over the course of this weekend, including Manchester United Fulham Sunday tea time, a 4:30 kickoff exclusively live to national radio. It's been another goal in the Championship. It's at Ewood, Nicky Gray.
Yeah, and it's the equaliser, Jim. It's Blackburn 1, Reading 1. Blackburn have had so many opportunities to just miss so many chances, but it's Reading who've got themselves back on level terms. Cesar Casade, great play down the left-hand side, a lovely little give and go from the edge of the area. He just gets his right foot through it into the bottom corner to put them back on level terms. It's their 12th away goal of the season. Blackburn 1, Reading 1.
First in 525 minutes as well, which is 8 3/4 hours, but they're back on level terms. Blackburn 1, Reading 1. Also in the Championship, an equaliser for Cardiff at home to West Brom. Sori Kaba has scored that. Cardiff starting the night 3 points above the bottom 3. Now that's a goal that would prevent West Brom making any headway really towards the playoff positions. Remember, Norwich are leading at Huddersfield. Cardiff 1, West Brom 1. Still waiting for the first goal in this game. Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0. 5-2 to Real Madrid on aggregate, with Camavinga playing the ball out of the Real Madrid right-hand side. Valverde, who's... Barnett's got maybe just a little streak of grey in it these days, which is a fine thing, I would suggest, from experience. But just lays it off towards Benzema. Free kick taken. And taken quickly after a foul on Karim Benzema. And Vinicius will bring it forward. Gakpo did really well, just stuck out a right foot and stopped him getting any further, and they looked long for the high ball over the top for Jota, who knew from a long way out that he wasn't getting there, but much as a horse in midfield plodding up the straight at Cheltenham, he chased to the winning post gamely, but knew that he wasn't going to get in the frame. It ran through to goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah, he was a beaten outsider.
Here's Vinicius at the other end. He slipped it in towards Benzema. Brilliant from Van Dijk. And the offside flag is up anyway. But Van Dijk came back just as it looked as though Benzema was going to have a tap in, and he just busted gut to get a foot in. It's a really tight offside call against Vinicius, but it's a free kick to Liverpool.
It's amazing when you look at replays of these offsides and then you see how tight they are, Jim, as you just mentioned there. You've got to give the Lions people some fantastic credit, because they're so good at their job getting it right, and it's so marginal.
Courtois getting the ball clear from inside his 6-yard box, headed down by Fabinho, and then Salah was waiting for it, and it was pinched off his toes by Toni Kroos. It's the 500th career game tonight, incidentally, for Mo Salah. Ball is played through at the other end. Valverde! Good save. Flag didn't come up this time. Alisson with the stop. Back from Valverde. Benzema! And that's a more routine stop. Just got his hands down to it and was able to make the save.
Well, I've got to say, both... Oh, we've got an opportunity here.
With Salah. And he's got a man to his left-hand side. And he didn't even come close to finding Nunez. And a good position comes to nothing. Then Nunez tries to bring it forward. Looks as though Eder Militao used his hand in bringing it away. A free kick has gone Real Madrid's way. Gakpo's furious because the referee just didn't spot the handball. But Salah should have found Nunez, and he may well have found the net had he done so.
He certainly should. Madrid short of defenders, outnumbered 2-1, and when Salah lifted his head, you thought, for all intents and purposes, he's going to slide Jota in, but Nunez in, but the pass was too short.
Camavinga bringing the ball forward. And to Vinicius on the Real Madrid left-hand side. Exchange of passes with Camavinga again. Karim Benzema is 25 yards out. Valverde sold short. Nunez has won it back. Rescuing it. Carvajal slides it back to his goalkeeper. Huddersfield have equalised at home to Norwich, which would be a big fillip for them. They desperately need a win. They've only had one in the last 13 games, but Grant Hanley's put through his own net there. Norwich won. Huddersfield won, Norwich won. And in the other Champions League game taking place tonight, Napoli lead Eintracht Frankfurt by 2-0. Osimhen has got them both, and he's up to 23 for the season. They're 4-0 up on aggregate, and they are going through. Chelsea already through, along with Manchester City, the 2 Milan clubs, Benfica, Bayern Munich, Napoli, and seemingly it's going to be Real Madrid, unless, but there's no sign of Ancelotti seeing a 3-0 lead disappear in the, or 3-goal lead disappear in the second half again, as it did in Istanbul. Not so far anyway.
No, as I say, both teams at this moment, we've talked about Liverpool looking as though not in real confidence when they've created opportunities, and probably Madrid are of a similar vein at the moment. They've created decent opportunities, but that real cutting edge and killer edge has not been there at present.
Vinicius, after a Van Dijk header, went to the right-hand side of the area. Benzema, good block by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then the ball hits the arm of a Real Madrid striker, and it's a free kick to Liverpool. But credit to Trent Alexander-Arnold there.
Yeah, certainly managed to get back. Good opportunity there. Direct ball, straight ball. And it's that man who's been a pest tonight for Liverpool. Vinicius Jr. created it, and the recovering run, blocking the shot from Trent, very, very timely.
Now he's launched it forward, but it's headed away, and Kroos turning it over the top. Konate comes across, knocks it away from Vinicius. A hugely entertaining 0-0, albeit that with Play 56 minutes. Liverpool just needing that little spark. They need some inspiration. Not too many signs of it so far. If they don't turn this around, then of the last 5 sides to eliminate them from the Champions League, 4 of them will have been Real Madrid. The other one will be Atletico Madrid. Double change. Nunez and Jota off. Firmino and Elliott coming on, Stuart.
Yeah, I certainly saw Jota being one of the ones that would have been replaced. A little bit surprised about Nunez, but obviously Jurgen sees that he needs to freshen things up a little bit.
So now they'll go back to the conventional 4-3-3, you would imagine. Gakpo, who might be doing his work off the left-hand side now. Just an inside right for the moment as he finds Elliott. Elliott laying it back through the midfield for Fabinho. Harvey Elliott started on the right-hand side rather than playing on the right of 3 in midfield. And a long diagonal towards the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area. It was a hopeful ball, but Carvajal came to meet it. A diving header. He was only about 6 inches off the ground, and he put it out of play for a corner.
Yeah, this is an element of, and I hope I'm proved wrong at this corner, an element of Liverpool's game that I've been a little bit disappointed with tonight. Their corner taking, the ability to get on the end of things. They're getting first contact, but not really threatening the goal.
Eder Militao headed that Milner delivery away. Vinicius looking long. Oh, Trent Alexander-Arnold couldn't bring it under control. He got away with it because Benzema couldn't either. Liverpool pumping upfield. Real Madrid win it back with a good piece of enterprising, marauding, attacking full-back play from Nacho. Vinicius goes to ground. A good challenge from Elliott in his white boots with the straggly hair. He's laid it back for Milner. There was a comma in there somewhere. Elliott with his white boots, comma, and straggly hair, as opposed to white boots with straggly hair. You knew what I was saying. Fabinho, Salah chasing it. Courtois there first. It's a goal kick.
My grammar's not great, so I wouldn't have had a clue what was,
yeah, it should
what
be
was
old.
needed.
It should be old now, though. Don't pity laugh me. Real Madrid 0, Liverpool 0. 5-2.
You're a better man than that, Jim.
5-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. You're listening to the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the car payment partner that works hard for your business. Liverpool applying a press, but not with a great degree of conviction as the ball was laid back to Courtois, and he played it out towards Camavinga. And almost as if Liverpool were pressing with a sense of inevitability, they were going to be played through. Milner has it on halfway, and he's looked for the direct ball, which will be chased by Salah. Rudiger with the arms outstretched protected the space, and the ball rolled through the goalkeeper again. Kroos, he's looking long. It's becoming really stretched now. Canate slides in, clears it from Vinicius. It's a Real Madrid throw.
Yeah, as I say, game from end to end, but it really has got an air of a game that is getting stretched as time goes on.
Ball out of play for a throw which Real Madrid are in no hurry to take. Let's get an update from the Premier League game at the Amex. Brighton Palace, Adrian Durham.
We are into added time, and there's 9 minutes of it, so Palace have got the time to do it, but I think they could be here all night and still not score. Solly March's goal still separating the two sides. Brighton pretty much in control. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0.
381 minutes without a goal at the moment. Crystal Palace set to extend their win the streak to 12. Still haven't won a game in 2023. Last victory coming away to Bournemouth on New Year's Eve. And let's go to St Mary's as well. Southampton against Brentford. Last knockings there for Ian Abrahams.
And we're into 7 added minutes, where it's still Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Say it's better in the second half, Jim, but they're heading for a defeat, which could be very costly for them. But it's live on the Talksport app. The last 7 minutes, it's Southampton 0, Brentford 1.
Yeah, bottom if they lose, up to 16th. They would have gone had they won tonight. Their home form is crippling them. Here's Virgil van Dijk, bringing the ball forward over the halfway line. An hour gone now. Half an hour for Liverpool to find the 3 they need. Elliott down towards Salah. To Firmino, back for Salah again. Left-footed ball, scooped up. Exaggerated little loft inside the penalty area over Gakpo, and out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Thibaut Courtois. They're just not creating enough worthwhile opportunities. 8 in 60 minutes so far.
Yeah, you're right there. As I say, I love Salah a bit. He's working so hard, but just that little bit of cutting edge, and I don't know whether it's belief, I don't know what I would put it down to from Liverpool's point of view, but I'd say even Madrid have been guilty as well of not having that cutting edge and clinical finish.
Well, Liverpool still haven't had a single attempt in this second half. Firmino, leaving the club in the summer, desperate to leave with some kind of legacy in addition to what he's already provided for them. Here's Valverde though at the other end, swinging the ball in off Van Dijk, and he goes out of play for a throw. Another goal, and it's come in the Championship at the Stadium of Light. Graham Courtney.
It has. I'm just waiting to make sure this one actually is going to stand, Jim. It's still Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 2, and it is a free kick that has gone straight in. But I think there's a big shout here potentially for some offside, but the referee is he's okay with it, so the game is going to go ahead. And that one, I think, has gone slightly against the run of play, but all these things stand. But the goal has been... Has it been shot? Yeah, no, it's going to stand. So it's Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 2. Interesting person in the crowd, by the way. Ousmane Dembele is here. He'd get in the Sunderland team. It's Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 2.
Cheers, Graham. Tommy Doyle's goal then, putting the Blades ahead. Now they'll be 6 points clear of Middlesbrough if they can hang on with 9 games to go apiece. This one's 0-0. Tony Rudiger making his way forward when we're hearing about that goal. Nacho delivering across from the left-hand side. Good attacking play from the two left-sided Real Madrid defenders. Modric now with a lovely little looping, turning ball over the top. And Valverde heads the ball over the bar. Great approach play there from Modric. Flicked inside the penalty area, and he came to meet it and sent a header from about 7 yards over the bar.
Yeah, fantastic play there by Modric. Just flicked it over the top of Trent Alexander's head, popped it in, and the header just couldn't get above it to head it down.
Another goal at Hull. Mark Wilson.
Hat-trick for Nathan Tella. Hull 0, Burnley 3. Hull misplaced the pass inside their own half. Tella pounced on it, drove towards goal and fired a shot past the keeper from the edge of the box. Game over here. Hull 0, Burnley 3.
Nathan Tella on loan from Southampton with a hat-trick. What Southampton would have done for a couple of those three tonight. Napoli 3, Eintracht Frankfurt 0. Peter Zielinski from the penalty spot. That's 5-0 on aggregate. This one 5-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. And Liverpool still giving everything they've got, not going through the motions, trying to make it happen. But it's plenty of perspiration and not enough inspiration at the moment. Here's Alexander-Arnold on the Liverpool right. High hanging ball too deep for Gakpo. It should be kept in on the left by Robertson. He's done well. Oh, no, not well enough. Real Madrid fans appealing for a throw. I think Robertson knew it. And the verdict is a throw to Real Madrid in their right back position. Another goal, this one at Ewood Park. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it's Blackburn 2, Reading 1. I thought it was going to be a night of missed opportunities for Blackburn, but Sam Gallagher has just played through Ryan Hedges, and with the outside of his left foot, he's just poked the ball into the bottom corner. Blackburn 2, Reading 1.
Blackburn leading Reading by 2 goals to 1 to strengthen their playoff push. Here's Alexander-Arnold with the ball inside the penalty area. Rudiger knocking it away. Well, they helped Blackburn Rovers with a victory tonight, with the fact that the two sides immediately below them in the table are both being held in their respective games right now. Alexander-Arnold once more for Liverpool, taking it out towards the touchline. Eder Militao following him every step of the way, gave him a little shove, and Trent ran out of room. And it's a throw which will be taken on the Real Madrid right.
Yeah, I'm just getting the impression with Liverpool body language a little bit that they're just running out of any form of belief that they might get back into this game. What they need is just a goal from somewhere, just to give them that encouragement to keep pushing and pushing.
Let's get another couple of quick updates from the Premier League. Back to Brighton, Adrian Durham.
Well, we've got 90 seconds left, so of the 9 minutes added on, and well, Palace had a great chance. Hamada gifted the ball in the box by the Brighton keeper Jason Steele, dragged his shot wide when he really should have scored, or at least tested the keeper. Brighton should see this out. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0.
And at St Mary's, Ian Abrahams.
Minute to go, still Southampton 0, Brentford 1. Brentford are running down the clock here, Jim. It looks like Southampton will be bottom and stay bottom tonight. Southampton 0, Brentford 1, a minute to go.
Luka Modric playing it back for Toni Kroos. Kroos fires it out towards the Real Madrid right-hand side. Southampton would be bottom, 22 points, 27 games. Leeds on 23. Bournemouth, West Ham and Leicester all on 24 above them. Harvey Elliott sticking his foot in the midfield. Ball bounced off and finds Camavinga. Danny Carvajal. Fall from him for Valverde. Valverde rolling studs of his right boot over the top of the ball. Kroos with a little layoff. From him to Karim Benzema. Real Madrid just slowing things down a little. They've got some monumental games coming up, not least Barcelona away. Coming up at the weekend. Then after a match against Valladolid at the Bernabeu, they go back to Barcelona in the second leg of their Copa del Rey semi-final. Currently find themselves 9 points adrift of the top of La Liga. Valverde played out towards the right-hand side. Carvajal's ball in straight into the hands of Alisson, and there has been a very late goal at St Mary's. Ian Abrahams.
Get this. Southampton 0, Brentford 2. Joao Wissa won the ball midway inside the Saints half, ran in on goal and finished with aplomb. Southampton 0, Brentford 2.
And a red card at Ewood Park, Mickey.
Yes, there is on 85 minutes at Mendy Loom. He just had a challenge with Sam Gallagher, got back to his feet, head-butted him in the side of the face. Referee straight to his top pocket. Reading down to 10 men. Blackburn 2, Reading 1.
We're midway through the second half in the game in Madrid. It's Real Madrid 0. Liverpool 0. Draw for the next rounds of European football on Friday. Coming up between now and then, Arsenal and Manchester United, both hoping to make it through in the Europa League, and West Ham in the Europa Conference League as well. They're set fair, so too Manchester United. We've got the second leg of their game in Seville against Real Betis tomorrow night. It's a 5:45 kickoff on Talksport 2. Here's Vinicius towards the edge of the penalty area. The Karim Benzema blazes it over the bar. What a chance for Real Madrid, but it is a miss, you feel, that will end up being academic. Full-time whistle has gone, and the Amex, Adrian Durham.
And the Amex has just erupted. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. Solly March's strike on the quarter-hour mark won it for Brighton and kept their top four dream alive. Mitoma set him up. Brilliant through ball from him. March ran onto it, fired past Palace's teenage debut keeper Joe Whitworth. Before and after that, Palace missed a tasty selection of chances. And then in injury time at the end of the game, Jason Steele's only error gifted Hamada the ball in the box, but he dragged the chance wide. Brighton stay 7th, go level on points with Liverpool with a game in hand. 6 points behind fourth place Spurs with 2 games in hand on the North Londoners. Palace stay 12th, stay 3 points above the bottom 3, and still haven't won this calendar year. Brighton 1, Palace 0.
And full-time as well as St Mary's. Ian Abrahams.
Southampton 0, Brentford 2. Ivan Toney in the first half from a corner flicked on by an unmarked Norgard. Toney 2 yards out, stabbed home. And right at the end, when Southampton were beaten anyway, Johan Wissa ran in on goal, 1-on-1 with Bazunu to finish with aplomb. Southampton stay bottom, can't win at home, and at the moment look like they might be going down. Southampton 0, Brentford 2.
Yeah, can't win at home, can't draw at home. 6 home defeats in the last 7 league games for Southampton. They beat Leicester but have lost every other home game they played since November. Here's Valverde for Real Madrid, just over 20 minutes to go. Well, that said, with that defeat for Crystal Palace, Southampton still only 5 points off being 12th, so there's all to play for. That is some relegation skirmish. It's arguably the best relegation battle the Premier League has ever seen, with barely a quarter of the campaign remaining. James Milner finding Konate. He finds Van Dijk. Van Dijk will play it back to his goalkeeper, and Alisson, who made a couple of stunning saves in the first half, with his first poor moment of the night. A right-footed chip out towards Alexander-Arnold that sailed over his head and out of play for a throw. You talked about the body language about 5 minutes ago. Liverpool know what their fate is here.
Yes, I totally agree with that. There's no doubt. I think the game has gone beyond them. They've not got this goal that they were hoping for, certainly early on. And the longer the game goes on, I think Madrid are happy to miss the odd chance. It doesn't hurt them, but every time Liverpool get the opportunity to work the goalkeeper and don't find a finish or a set-up pass, I think that's really hurtful to them.
Milner back for Alisson, side-footing it out towards Andy Robertson. Robertson will go back for his Brazilian goalkeeper again, then Van Dijk turning it out towards the Scotsman. Liverpool trying to make steady progress, forced to go backwards to come forwards. Elliott shows for the ball with Van Dijk in possession. He's played a ball instead between the lines towards Cody Gakpo. Real Madrid won it back immediately. Eder Militao done a really good job there. Just came forward with Gakpo and beat him. Then Vinicius will take it towards the byline. Check, try and get away from Trent Alexander-Arnold on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He's taking it down towards the corner flag. He got past Trent, but he couldn't get past Firmino as well. And Elliott's going to be able to bring it away. Down towards Roberto Firmino. This will be his last European tie in a Liverpool shirt. Unless there's a dramatic late miracle with 18 minutes to go. Liverpool need 3 unanswered goals to get this through to extra time. And every good defensive contribution from a Real Madrid player still being applauded by his teammates. As a double high five there between Nacho and Rudiger. And Camavinga did well as well. But Liverpool still have possession. Salah trying to get past Nacho, goes out of play for another throw.
Yeah, I think Madrid have identified that Salah is the one that can actually make the difference for Liverpool, and I think he's certainly been the biggest threat for Liverpool today.
Ball is out. Trent Alexander-Arnold preparing to take a throw. A play has just stopped for a moment. Referee Zvaya making his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Klopp still seemingly in very good spirits on the bench. I think there was a real sense of realism about what tonight was likely to have. He has been shown a yellow card, incidentally, Jurgen Klopp, clearly for something that was said. Milner has come off, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has come on to replace him.
Yeah, it's just ringing the changes now, maybe resting Millie's legs a little bit. A new face, some new ideas on the pitch with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Another one who suffered through the odd injury that's hurt his form a little bit.
Yeah, it's only his 12th appearance of the season, and he's had more off the bench than he has starts. Alisson getting it away. Hoping for what will be his 98th clean sheet as the Liverpool goalkeeper. 0-0 the score at the moment. He would have earned the clean sheet with those 2 great saves in the first half. Elliott is involved with a rumbustious challenge on Eder Militao. And Elliott far from happy. Jurgen Klopp far from happy. Still got that big grin on his face, but you can tell by his body language that he's chuntering away. He felt that wasn't a foul, but Elliott got none of the ball and lent into Eder Militao, sort of jumped into him really on the turn. And the award of a free kick to Real Madrid is the correct decision to my mind. 16 minutes to go.
Just looking at Klopp, I'm not too sure what. I think he's getting booked, Klopp, or is it Elliott? One or the other. I think both probably half deserve maybe a yellow.
Yeah, I think it was Klopp's animated reaction after the previous challenge to the Elliott one. It just incurred the wrath of the 4th official, Sven Jablonski. And Felix Zvár came across and booked him. Alexander-Arnold after the ball is given away, but it's a really poor delivery. Gakpo's going to get to it, but it forced him a lot wider than was necessary. And Carvajal and Eder Militao can bring it away down the Real Madrid right. When Liverpool have been able to get into that kind of position, the opportunity to deliver just hasn't been potent enough.
No, there's been it's really difficult to put your finger on it. It's almost a lack of confidence, a lack of belief in front of goal. And when you look at the lineup that they've got in Salah, Gakpo, Nunez, Jota, you think, well, there's a wealth of goals in there, but they've just been short of a final pass, the correct finish when they've had the opportunity.
15 minutes to go. The station that brings you day 3 of Cheltenham tomorrow. Liverpool needing 3 here. Courtois comes out, claims the free kick, and then smothers the ball at the feet of Roberto Firmino. 15 minutes left. The Championship game's just approaching full time now. Blackburn 2, 10-man Reading 1. Cardiff 1, West Brom 1. Huddersfield 1, Norwich 1. Hull 0, Burnley 3 with a Nathan Tella hat-trick. Luton a goal up at home to Bristol City as they've been since the 4th minute. Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 2, but Sunderland have hit the post in the last 5-6 minutes or so of that game. Here's Carvajal from distance, and he snatched it with the outside of his right boot and has gone well wide of Alisson's left-hand post. Brazilian in a hurry to get on with things, playing out from the back. Robertson will make a galloping run forward down the touchline. Gakpo working it inside, finds Elliott. He's got a fair bit of space to work with as well. And he's got Alexander-Arnold in support. Back he goes for Harvey Elliott. Decent ball forward from him to Firmino. Back for Elliott again, slipped in towards Salah. Salah nudging it off to his left-hand side. Elliott flicking it to his left for Robertson. This will be a brilliant goal, but it's blocked and goes out of play for a corner. But about 10, 12 slick Liverpool passes, but nobody taking the responsibility until it fell Robertson's way at a very tight angle.
Well, exactly that. It looked really slick. It looked would have been a great goal if it ended up in the back of the net, but Klopp very vocal on the touchline. I think he felt someone had to take responsibility to have a shot.
In comes the corner and Valverde heads it away. Trent angles a high ball forward and it's easily caught by Thibaut Courtois. Well, they've had some great European nights in the past. Istanbul and Dortmund, Barcelona, but Madrid isn't going to be one of them. No. Even if they end up winning this, not going to win it by the margin they need. And Ancelotti chewing gum in his impeccable black suit, looking his usual languid self on the edge of the technical area, and he's come on the wrong end of a miraculous Liverpool fight back in the past, but since his return to Real Madrid, he has had the better of the Reds whenever he has faced them. And that may well be the case again tonight. Full time at Ewood Park. Here's Mickey Gray.
It's finished here. Blackburn 2, Reading 1. First goal coming on 2 minutes from Brereton Diaz with a low right-footed shot after an assist from Sober Thomas. We had to wait till the second half, the 68th minute for the equaliser. A great right foot low strike from Casadei, assisted by Zhao, and then the winner coming on 82 minutes from Ryan Hedges with his left foot, assisted by Sam Gallagher. It was made more difficult with a red card for Reading on 85 minutes, and Dai Loom was sent off for a headbutt on Sam Gallagher. But Blackburn are up to 5th in those player positions. Finished here at Ewood Park. Blackburn 2, Reading 1.
Karim Benzema has given Real Madrid the lead. He's hurt himself in the process. Vinicius involved. Benzema on hand to be able to tap it in. Nothing that the Liverpool defence could do about it. And Real Madrid lead by 1-0 on the night. Liverpool had long since known that their fate was assured. No sign of the dramatic fight back. But Karim Benzema's rubbed salt into the wounds, because it looks as though Liverpool are going to be beaten in this second leg as well.
Yeah, there's been a drop-off with belief, I think. And when the balls ended up dropping for Vinicius in the box, he managed to go to ground, but had enough about him to keep it alive and put it into Benzema's path, who just steered it into an empty net.
Karim Benzema's 19th goal of the season. It's his 7th in 8 games against Liverpool. Vinicius getting a little bit lucky, sliding, completely mistimed it. That wrong-footed Van Dijk, and the loose ball had no purchase on it, and it just rolled slowly. And even from his prone position, Vinicius could hook his right leg around it to knock it square for Karim Benzema to tap it in. Did really hurt himself in the process, picked up a bang, but he's got the goal, and Real Madrid lead Liverpool by 1-0.
Yep, he won't get an easier goal in the game, and something had to happen, an easy tap-in, because the way the game was going, neither team looked as though they could finish off an attack. But probably, well, there's no probably about it. This has finished Liverpool off, and I think from Jurgen's point of view, he's going to have a good look at the rest of this season, with a view to what goes on next year. What do they need to do recruitment-wise, and where the team and the club go from here.
All about getting back into the Champions League for next season. That is the principal aim. They've got 12 games left. They find themselves 6 points adrift of Spurs in the Premier League with a game in hand, so their season's not over. But it is going to be a season where they don't win anything. Here's Konate. Konate 25 yards outside the penalty area to Fabinho. Marquinhos has been sent off for Norwich very late on in their game at Huddersfield, which is still 1-1. Cardiff 1, West Brom 1 is a result. And it's also finished at Kenilworth Road for Jeff Peters.
Yeah, Luton strengthened their grip on a playoff place, 1-0. Still an outside bet for Automatic. 16th goal of the season for Carlton Morris. They could have won by more. Bristol City didn't really threaten a goal. Pretty toothless. Luton 1, Bristol City 0.
So Luton stay 4th. As Jeff was saying, 7 points adrift of Sheffield United the way things stand in the second automatic promotion position. But Luton, more importantly for them, 7 points clear of Norwich inside the playoff positions. There's going to be a double change for Real Madrid. Luka Modric taking the applause of the Madrid faithful as he leaves the field. Dani Ceballos is going to be coming on to replace him, and Rodrigo will be coming on as well. Real Madrid leading Liverpool by a goal to nil with 9 minutes left, Stuart.
Yeah, for Liverpool it's a case of just keep ticking along in this game and try and get over the line with a bit of confidence. Can they get back into it? In regard to the result on the night remains to be seen, but over the two legs, Madrid certainly have been the better side, there's no doubt about that, and they've done what they've needed to do tonight. Keep a clean sheet, not necessarily win the game, but certainly it looks as though they've done that anyway.
So Benzema coming off, he's replaced by Rodrigo. A couple more impressive numbers for Benzema. It's his 342nd Real Madrid goal. He scored 89 Champions League goals in his career, second only to Cristiano Ronaldo. One of those coming in the 2018 final against Liverpool. But even in the twilight of his career, and he's 35 now, he's now scored 13 in his last 8 Champions League knockout matches, which drew a sharp exhalation of breath from my esteemed colleague. Harvey Elliott with a left-footed effort, on target, easily saved by Thibaut Courtois. And it remains 1-0 to Real Madrid, 6-2 on aggregate with 7.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting when the draw comes on Friday, I believe, Jim. Madrid, I think a few teams want to avoid them. I think for me, my tip to win it this year is Napoli, and I don't think too many teams would want to encounter them.
Yeah, when you look at the makeup of the last 8, there are probably 5 teams in there that you would want to avoid. I think everybody will be maybe looking at Inter, or the 2 Milan sides, as being probably the longest straws of those that are left. Benfica in there as well, but they've been in sparkling form, hardly lost a game all season. Vinicius is coming off. Another change as far as Real Madrid are concerned, and while that change is made and Asensio comes on, we'll get news of another goal at Hull. Mark Wilson.
Yeah, consolation for Hull. Hull 1, Burnley 3. Ozan Tufan lashing in from close range. Deserved really for Hull. They've been better, but they've been outplayed for much of the game. Hull 1, Burnley 3.
And Burnley will have a 13-point lead above Sheffield United at the end of the night. If things stay the way that they are at the moment, that's the status quo being maintained. But more importantly for Burnley, they'll be 19 clear of Middlesbrough, and they'll only need another 9 to go back into the Premier League. Ball is out of play for a throw, which Nacho's going to take on the Real Madrid left-hand side. Nacho just dropping the ball into the feet of Camavinga in the midfield. Firmino again, and he was pulled back. It's a free kick which is taken quickly by Liverpool. It is now full-time at Hull. Hull 1, Burnley 3 is how it's finished. Fabinho down towards Harvey Elliott. Down to Salah. Salah into the feet of Firmino. Good turn by Firmino. Camavinga clearing it on the edge of his own penalty area. And then Real work it back with Valverde towards Dani Carvajal. His clearance not the best. A little bit too low and flat, and brought down by Robertson on his chest. And he'll make his way towards the corner of the penalty area. Carvajal just tried to block a cross that comes in. Valverde was hurt for a moment there. Play will carry on around him. Slipped off towards Elliott. Elliott almost getting it towards Salah on the right-hand side of the area. Now Alexander-Arnold is in, and he pulls it in, and Rudiger with a 2-footed lunge clears. He was nowhere near making contact with Alexander-Arnold. It was perfectly safe as far as Rudiger was concerned. He's put it out of play for a corner.
Yeah, once again, reasonably decent set-up by Liverpool in and around the box. A nice little reverse pass from Salah. And Trent Alexander-Arnold took a touch before probably should have actually delivered it, for me.
And then the corner comes in, and it's hit far too hard. Just goes over everybody's head and out of play for a throw. They've had 4 corners in the second half, Liverpool without reply, but they've only had 1 shot whilst they've been chasing this game in the second period.
Yeah, I think, their set plays, their corners have not been great actually all game, and whilst they've had first contact on a couple of them, they've never really threatened the goal.
So Carvajal is going to come on. come off, I beg your pardon, and Lucas Vazquez is the player who comes on to replace him. Now, whilst we were hearing from Mark a moment or so ago, Chouameni came on to replace Toni Kroos. So Real Madrid have made all of their changes now. Liverpool have made 3. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold, 4 to go. It's been all over bar the shouting for a long time in reality. This is Elliott, down towards Salah. Huddersfield 1, Norwich 1 is a full-time score. Norwich now 4 points adrift of the top 6 with 9 games to go. Huddersfield still in desperate relegation trouble, just 1 win in 14 for them, and they're 5 points adrift of safety. Kroos has just got a little bit of ice being applied to his right thigh as he sits in the dugout, just undoing his left boot, sitting next to Luka Modric, who's a picture of concentration as he watches events unfold in the minutes that remain. Carvajal plays it forward and wins the throw. 3 to go.
Yeah, as I say, it's just not happening for Liverpool at the moment. And you see, this is when I've been there before. You're playing these games, and all of a sudden, you know you can't turn the game round, and you're just hoping that clock keeps ticking over a little bit quicker than it normally does.
Konate headed through the midfield. Chouameni is involved with Camavinga, and between them they've been able to turn it forward. Picked up on the Real Madrid left by Nacho. Disguised back heel from him for Chouameni, who scored one of the goals against England in the World Cup quarter-final. Back down towards Nacho again. Nacho to Asensio. Asensio thrashing the ball across the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo no chance of being able to deal with that. And Liverpool will be able to bring it forward again, but a misplaced pass goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Real Madrid left. Will there be any positives for Jurgen Klopp tonight as he decodes this over the next fortnight or so?
Listen, he's a winner, Klopp, there's no doubt. So the result is the big one for me. They've gone out over 2 legs, and the Anfield result was the one that's put them out, there's no doubt. But from his point of view, I think he'll look long-term, Jim, coming out of this one and saying, look, we've dropped off our standards this year. There's been a level of non-consistency, and we need to address that next year.
Well, they don't play again for another 17 days. Manchester City away is their next fixture. It's a game we'll bring you live on Talksport on April Fool's Day. 12:30 kickoff that day. Then they've got Chelsea away. Then they've got Arsenal at home. I mean, that's a pretty horrific 3-ball of fixtures, really, as far as Liverpool are concerned, in terms of just reigniting their push for a top 4 finish after the frustrations at Bournemouth at the weekend. Now, it's been a much better performance tonight than they gave down there, but still more than tinged with frustration that there wasn't the potency going forward. They didn't really give themselves a fighting chance of getting back into this.
Yeah, I think their fans are left scratching their head, Jim, you know, from a sort of 2-5 reverse at home to these, then a 7-0 victory against United, then a 1-0 loss at Bournemouth. They're just not too sure which sort of Liverpool side are going to turn up in some ways.
Well, as has been said before, their only consistency is their inconsistency. They can bring it forward now, can Liverpool, with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Valverde stumbles. He tried to make the challenge. Oxlade-Chamberlain couldn't quite get the return ball from Robertson. It was overhit and it rolls through for Thibaut Courtois. It's not going to be too much stoppage time played in this game, bearing in mind there's a 4-goal aggregate lead for Real Madrid. Just a few seconds remaining in the 90 minutes, and 2 minutes of stoppage time are going to suffice.
Yeah, and I'm pleased to say in this game as well, with a game that, you know, Real Madrid just needed to get over the line, basically. There's not been too many injuries, or feigning injury, if you like, and breaking play up. It's been a pretty good game in respect to that.
Tsimikas and Carvalho are going to be brought on just to get a few extra yards on the clock on the biggest of stages, and they'll be coming on very shortly. It'll be a double change that Liverpool will make with only 90 seconds of stoppage time to go. Just waiting for confirmation of who the 2 Liverpool players who are coming off are going to be. Andy Robertson will be one of them. Tsimikas coming on to replace him. So straight swap at left back. And a rare European appearance as well for Fabio Carvalho. He's only seen 8 minutes of Premier League action since October. And he comes on to replace Cody Gakpo for the last minute or so. Real Madrid in possession. Camavinga's got it. Slips it infield away from Fabinho. Decent ball to the right-hand side of the penalty area. Chance for 2-0. Rodrigo's effort blocked. Did it hit the hand of Tsimikas? That was the claim. Well, he's been involved in a big moment just seconds after coming on. He's denied Real Madrid a second goal.
Well, great ball through, split the defence inside the fullback, and when it was pulled back, probably from about penalty spot distance out. No, definitely it was a really good block, to be fair, for Tsimikas' right thigh, then onto his hand, onto his left hand. No chance of a penalty here.
Stranger things have happened. In the Premier League, that definitely wouldn't be a penalty. But just because the arm is away from the side of the body, even though it's come off his left thigh and hit his right arm, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. I don't think, in terms of the way the laws are written, I don't think that should be a penalty. Not a chance. But the way that they're interpreted in Champions League games, you can see it.
Well, I can't see it, but I'll take your word for it that it could go either way. I think they're tossing a coin at their version of Stockley Park as we speak. It shouldn't take this long. Whether it's a penalty or not, the decision should be made instantaneously. I've seen it once and I've made my mind up.
Well, Marco Fritz is the VAR. They are having a really long, hard look at this. Again, a big grin on Klopp's face, because I think he agrees with us. There's no way that should be a penalty. He's come off his thigh and flicked across his body. Where's his arm supposed to be? Right down by his side, rubbing his thigh. Well, the referee's going to come over and have a look, and I'm sure he's going to give it. I'm equally sure he shouldn't be giving it. There's no way this will be given in the Premier League. But the still that he has shown is one that is not great for Tsimikas, because his left arm was out. Now the referee is seeing the slow motion replays, and it's come off his right thigh. There's no deliberate attempt to play the ball with that, the lower arm from Tsimikas. And what's the referee going to give? Felix Zweier is going to give a penalty. Oh no, he's not. He's giving the throw. I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed. I mean, it's completely academic, but I'm amazed.
Well, the ludicrous thing about it is VAR thrown it back to the referee and say, you're going to have a look at this. So they obviously had an inkling that they thought it was a penalty. He's gone and looked at it and said, don't be ridiculous. It's come off me right thigh and hit my left hand at the other side of my body. So, wow, listen, I've looked at that once, and within 2 seconds I can tell you that's never been a penalty, never should be a penalty. And as luck happens, the referee's come to the right decision. But you're right in what you said, Jim. You cannot tell what decision's going to get thrown out in Champions League football.
Well, as soon as he came over and had a look at it, it looked as though Tsimikas was in trouble. There was no penalty given against him. Next phase of play, he actually got a yellow card for a flailing arm. But that is the end of the game. There is no miracle of Madrid as far as Liverpool are concerned. Knocked out for a third successive season in the Champions League by Real Madrid. Their old nemesis coming back to haunt them again. But they weren't beaten in the Bernabeu. They were beaten at Anfield 3 weeks ago. Karim Benzema ended up with the only goal of the game tonight to drive the final nail into the coffin, but the damage had long since been done, and Liverpool are out in the round of 16. They've lost 1-0 tonight, and they've been beaten 6-2 on aggregate.
Jim, thanks very much. It seems a long time ago that Liverpool found themselves 2-0 up in this tie. How that has turned around to 6-2 on aggregate, they need to analyse and need to work out going forward, but that is some turnaround, Stuart Pearce, and you can't really argue anything other than Real Madrid deserve to go through. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think you summed it up nicely there over the 2 legs. Madrid have been the better side in both games and deserve to go through into the next round. A level of inconsistency from Liverpool this season have seen them off, and I think there's a little bit of work for Jurgen to do. He'll be as frustrated as anyone with that inconsistency, Adrian.
Yeah, he will, and he will also find out in due course that Brighton have drawn level on points with Liverpool. Brighton in 7th, Liverpool in 6th, 42 points they're on, and Brighton still have a game in hand on the Reds. So that's not healthy reading in terms of the Premier League table for Jurgen Klopp as well. So he's got that to contend with. Do you think that it will be some kind of watershed moment for Jurgen Klopp and the players? This is their last chance of a trophy, the miracle comeback that we talked about that they've done before. They didn't get anywhere near pulling it off, really, Stuart. So it's got to go down unless they can eke out a top 4 place, top 4 finish come the end of the season. It's got to go down as a bad campaign.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. As I say, the only success from this moment on to the end of the season is if they could get back in the Champions League this year. But yeah, it's strange football. As I say, come last summer, I thought Liverpool, with the season they had last year, would go from strength to strength with the recruitment that they had, with Diaz, with Núñez, more goals in the team, in the squad. But they've had a level of vulnerability, and I think he'll clear 1 or 2 out maybe in this summer and look to freshen things up.
Is that ironic playing of You'll Never Walk Alone in the Bernabeu?
I think it is.
That's brutal, isn't it? I mean, is that necessary, really? Blimey, that's harsh.
It depends. It might be a term of sort of respect for Liverpool.
Maybe.
Take your pick on that one.
What I will do is say to you, that reading of the VAR at the end, Stuart, I thought was magnificent from you. The VAR, your words were, the VAR said, could be a pen, go and have a look. Ref had a look and said, don't be ridiculous. I think more refs who are told to go and have a look at the monitor should do that in this country.
Yeah, I think there's 2 things there. What in God's name are you looking at the VAR centre if you think that might even have a squeak at being a penalty, I would say. But well done to the referee for going over there, being guided to go over there with the pressure of VAR potentially saying you've got the decision wrong on the pitch, and for him to turn around and say, you know what, I haven't got it wrong, behave yourself.
Brilliant stuff. Stuart, let's pick out this evening's Man of the Match with Till by NatWest.
Man of the Match on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and eligibility criteria apply.
Stuart's finished 1-0 on the night, 6-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. So who are you going for, man of the match?
Well, I've got to go for Vinicius Junior. I thought he was very good. He was a real threat, especially in the first half. He's the one who assisted the goal. And I think going forward in this tournament, he's going to be a threat to anyone he plays against.
Yeah, he was really good. Unlucky not to get on the score sheet. Set up the winning goal on the night, though. Vinicius Junior, our pick for this evening's Man of the Match with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest.